Up now, I would like to welcome to the stage Serghey Shenderov, who's the co-founder and CEO at Mom.life. He'll be talking about global decentralized consumer economy, and he is a former senior investment banker who is currently a serial entrepreneur focused on building a global project driving financial inclusion and adoption of blockchain. Can you please give Serghey a very warm welcome to the stage?
I love Bitcoin. Who else does, by the way? 3 people in the audience? You guys want me to get off stage right now? Well, let me tell you why I consider it the most important consumer project of my lifetime. Bitcoin has shown us how people that are excluded from economic opportunity can, for the first time in their lifetime, invest, store value, and manage their finances without the reliance on the nation states and rent seekers. It is, regardless of what the future holds for Bitcoin, it is important, at least as a phenomenal demo of how financial incentives can be viral, how people can unite into economic networks that drive social scalability, and they can jointly create value that they become included into. And I think its historic significance is undeniable regardless of what happens in the market, and it really has shown us how tremendous value can be generated and distributed among the people, and its own value at the high point reached over 400 million US. The important condition, caveat of the process with Bitcoin is that it's not been rooted in any initial intrinsic value and was not based on any existing behavior that is already, before any financial incentives, creates economic value. And I think, as important as Bitcoin is, instead of worrying about what will happen to it, we should concentrate on the learnings that directly ensue from Bitcoin and try to figure out what existing economic networks that are already rooted in common behavior that unites groups of people globally into networks that generate value, how the learnings from Bitcoin can be applied. And I have been looking very closely at the social phenomena that may be very similar to what has been happening with the main cryptocurrency. And we, I believe, have found one such global network more than 10 years ago, when my co-founder and I have founded and subsequently developed the largest user content platform in Europe in the parenting vertical. It was called Babyblog. Today it reaches more than 43 million unique users, and it's the largest user content platform in the world after US-based Baby Center. There were many learnings about this demographic over more than 10 years that we've spent working on it and observing it. The biggest one was this visceral need for mothers to connect with each other at an early stage of their pregnancy and maternity, to experience all these thrills and sad moments of maternity that they encounter for the first time in their life. And around that social phenomenon of people going through the same at exactly the same time, we have built a global mobile product that is really a WeChat for moms and a messenger and a social platform that now reaches 1.2 million users globally, is the most engaged social product, and in fact, a mobile product in any category that I know, with more than 60 minutes per user per day, which is more than Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram combined based on their own data. It is the largest source of user-generated content and parenting in the world by far because of this engagement, and it generates more than 10 times the social posts of all properties of Babysitter. And because of that engagement and because of this behavior that is deeply rooted in the needs of this audience, they are engaged in daily generation of these massive assets that we already monetize for fiat in attention, content, and data. This is something that we already sell to more than 100 international brands who are who's who in the CPG and FMCG space. So there is no doubt there is tremendous demand for this for this information and attention, and the moms have no access to this value. They've never had, and there is certainly a question: what would happen if they had access and were co-creators and co-participants with us in that value? So I think by this moment it's fairly obvious where the crypto comes in, but let me elaborate on that. You have to understand something about our audience. While it is the biggest economic power globally online by far, they spend up to 80% of all family-related household budgets in any market that we're looking at. They are extremely disenfranchised and financially excluded individually. And to give you an example, in the most developed market that we concentrate on, in the US, the statistics are that 50% of births right now happen to single moms, 50% of births are supported by Medicaid, which is the state-run insurance system for essentially the people who are not outside the 30% bracket above the poverty line. Another statistic is that 59% of food stamps are distributed to households led by single moms, which literally means that this food stamps as a product exists for moms. All that combined means that, ironically, the category of people that is responsible for the largest value generation in online commerce are looking for every way to make money online that would save them the time away from their children, that would potentially, but not actually at the moment, allow them to pull less than several low-paying, low-competence jobs. And this is exactly the inequality and an opportunity that crypto unlocks. What we are able to do by launching a digital economy that is rooted in this behavior, and the vision for us is to become a central bank without the ability to print extra money that manages the monetary system underlying specific economic activity on moms. We would generate income for them by paying them for everything that they do every day before any financial incentives, which is inviting new users, generating content, providing emotional support to each other, moderating community, leading knowledge groups, everything that leads to value generation and to growth of the network. The brands and all the third parties are on one hand after their attention that they're already paying us in fiat for. On the other, they want to sell to moms and they want to deliver value to them in the form of goods, services, and content that they advertise on our platform. So these are the two sources of income for moms that can be redeemed in several marketplaces that can be built here. One obvious one that is fundamental to the relationship between us, brands, and the moms is the third-party online marketplace where brands would put in their goods, services, and content. So the model economic relationship and what really happens at the start of this network functioning is we, say Procter & Gamble, who already advertise for us for multi-million budgets, come to us with a specific budget for the next quarter. We tell them we don't need fiat anymore. We're not recipients of revenue anymore, in fact. What we want you to do is, if it's $500,000, take your goods, services, coupons, and discounts, whatever represents dollar value to you, and put it in our online marketplace. We will compensate you with our currency, which by then has a market price and is liquid, and you use it to directly incentivize moms, effectively employ them and pay them for being your brand ambassadors, for engaging with your content and advertisement. We will be paying them for everything they contribute to the network, and then one major way to redeem the tokens that they earn is to come to this online marketplace and buy your goods and services. There are other potentially multi-trillion marketplaces such as virtual goods, which, given how much this audience spends time online, are similar in potential to some of the biggest platforms that have been built for gamers. There is P2P trade, and our audience is extremely engaged in commerce in the form of coupons, collective buying, local classifieds, and other kinds of direct trade that they're very comfortable to engage with the community with which they spend so much time. There is charity, because this has been a really explicit opportunity throughout our experience with this audience, because once an environment is created where there is a level of trust underlied by the relationships they built with each other, where they become really closest individuals outside their respective families, it is natural for them to bring the problems that they have up and discuss their needs with their peers. And online jobs, there is a huge market out there for remote jobs that fundamentally is inaccessible to these moms that could also contribute to the transactional surface that is described in this slide. What we're really, and any project like us will be interested in going forward, instead of maximizing revenue, is maximizing transactional surface, the use cases for this currency, and the amount of people who come on the platform to utilize it. So it is a truly global opportunity that is rooted in existing fundamental intrinsic value that is already there, and we monetize it for dollars. And now we have an opportunity to unlock the size of the economy that is fundamentally defined by what our users contribute to every day and their spending power. And from here on, they become our partners in building the network, and their behavior is culture and border agnostic. And as a general investment thesis in crypto, I think it is arguably the most important one, to identify these networks where before financial incentives there is already a common behavior that can be unlocked as value generation to all the participants. It is indeed only the beginning. I would be thrilled to talk to any of you who are interested in partnerships or to understand more about our philosophy and our plans. Please come talk to me. And if you have questions now, I think we have 2 more minutes.
Rob Monster, Digital Town. Hey, Serghey, great talk. Enjoyed learning about your platform. You want to talk a little bit about your API plans and how you are exposing your various data resources to independent developers that might help you co-create some outcome?
Yeah. So we're we're a platform, and data is one of the markets that is arguably our biggest asset, because these women leave a lot of breadcrumbs and a lot of information on a daily basis about themselves over and above what we take at registration. The problem that we have right now is we cannot sell their data without making very conservative decisions based on averages that ignore individual opinions about what it is that they're actually willing to sell and to whom. The vision for the future and what we're implementing right now, in APIs and kind of solutions that will allow external developers and third parties interested in data to build interfaces that will reach individual users, and the price discovery and the dialogue between what scope and depth of information they're willing to sell will be happening bilaterally between them. That means for us that we will be able to clear the entire inventory of data that we have, which is completely out of reach for us right now. Because again, individual decisions will be made about what people are actually willing to sell. Thank you.